o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. If y'all, let's everyone stand for a moment of silence, and then we'll do the pledge. And as your thoughts, remember Mr. Carlton tonight. He's with his mother. She's ill in Indiana. So remember him. Mr. Long, you lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's my bad too.
All right. Oh, thank you. We call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Here.
Mr. Matheson?
Here.
Mr. East? Here. Mr. Payne?
Here.
Mr. Carlson is not present, and Ms. Patterson.
Okay. We got employee recognition and student recognition tonight. I think it's the ACT 30 Plus Club.
Yes, I've actually got two tonight. First of all, Mr. Henley, we want to recognize those juniors that score a 30 or better on the ACT. A perfect score is a 36 on the ACT, so we're very proud of both of these juniors. When I call your name, boys, if you'll come up, and then we'll tell them your score, so because it's a big honor. I have McGregor Barnhill. His composite was a 34, his math was a 30, science was a 35, English a 35, and reading a 36.
Wow.
And 36 is perfect. And I asked him, I said, that is wonderful. I said, I knew you'd get a 36. He's going to take it again. He's after that 36. And my vote is you'll get it. And then Isaiah Fletcher. Isaiah's composite was a 33, his math was a 30, his science was a 34, his English was a 34, and his reading was a 33. Are you going to take it again, Isaiah?
Yep, probably.
Yeah, probably. So we're very proud of him.
Obviously, we're proud of both these boys with the scores 33, 34, pushing a 36. We're hoping for that perfect score, but with what they have, they can pretty much write their own ticket as far as what field of study they want to pursue and what university they want to attend. So we're looking for big things out of these two in about 5 to 6 years. If they go on further, they may be lawyers, doctors, who knows. They can do what they want to, and we're very proud of them.
And the boys, just like a minute.
We take their mask off for the picture.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. One more. Okay.
And I do have just a little bit, we did want to recognize, we've had so many great accomplishments in our CTE, and when we tallied up how many students that would be, it had been close to 50 to get them here tonight. Mr. Adams is doing a special recognition for all of his CTE students, and these students will be recognized tomorrow. And he's having a cookout for them. He's grilling hamburgers for all the CTE students tomorrow. But the Battle of the Build, they were first place winners. And if you haven't got to see the picnic table, it was absolutely, well, not a picnic table, it was more of a kitchen table. You could use it as a picnic table. Absolutely beautiful. So I listed all the students that were involved with that, but it was class members of construction, electrical, and ag mechanics that worked on this project. They did a wonderful job. FFA competitions, there's been several FFA competitions, and as you can see, we listed all of the winners from all of those and had a few pictures that FFA shared with us. Culinary Arts competed in a virtual recipe contest. They didn't win this year, but I do know that they will win next year. They had some very creative ideas, and that is Chef Heath with the students that participated in that. Robotics, they have done a wonderful job this year, and Ms. Dishman's back there, so she shared this information with us, with the teams, and all the awards that they received.
See Lauren's name.
Yeah, Lauren is in there. She's been big in robotics for a long time. And then HOSA has also competed and came in first place in several different categories and wanted to share that with you. So you can see if we'd had all those students here, which we'd love to, I don't know if we got them in the building.
And Host is not finished yet. They have international competitions in June.
Yes. So Host goes to international at the end of June. And then just another thing to add to CTE, we've had 191 state industry certifications this year. So we have a wonderful CTE program that does a lot for our kids, and just wanted to sort of spotlight them.
That's great, thank you. Okay, next we have Dr. Long. Let's talk about the football league.
I told Mr. McAloy to be here. Hey, there you go. I got caught up at the Little League field trying to get them ready, and I just got. You're fine, Craig. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Craig McAloy. He's going to speak on behalf of Youth League football.
Oh, okay.
I was just asked to come by and ask for permission for the youth league to use the football field this year for probably our 4 or 5 home games that we have.
I don't think, I didn't hear of any problems last year, and y'all clean up and do well, so be honored for y'all to do that. Anybody have any problem? We don't have to have a motion for that, do we?
Don't, okay, we don't have to prove it. Okay.
As long as y'all are okay with it.
Okay.
Which concession stand will we be able to use? I know in the past we've used a small one and then we've used the big one.
Yeah, that would be something, I guess you'd just work out with Mr. Henley. I'm not.
Just whichever one y'all can get worked out.
Yeah, whichever one's going to benefit you all most and be most suitable.
Okay.
Make
All right. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Craig.
Okay. You said one or two more. Okay, next is the consent agenda, and part of that is to approve the agenda. What I would like to do is item number 13 on your agenda is talking about masks. I would like to move that to immediately after the consent agenda, if it's not a problem, anyone?
Sure.
Okay, and we don't have any visitors?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, okay. All righty, call the roll for the consent agenda. Oh, we need a motion.
Motion in a second.
I move we approve a consent agenda.
I second that.
Okay, call the roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Okay. Now, item number 13. Discussion and approval of the 2020-2021 school year return to school plan regarding students and staff wearing masks.
Mr.
And that's
Chair,
on page 4.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I move that we, the staff and the students, immediately remove the mask. And we look at it by the month starting in July. And as far as the volunteers, lift the restrictions on the volunteers, and that's all in one motion, if we can do that.
I'll second it.
Okay, does that include the summer school program?
That would include
With
summer school.
program.
Okay, we have a first and a second. Any more discussion? Call the roll.
Do I need a first and a second?
We got it.
You got it.
Okay, sorry. You're first
Kevin
And Gary was
and Gary.
second.
Sorry.
Mr. Matheson was second.
All right, Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? No. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Take this thing off. Okay, thank you. All righty, number 6, we want to approve the following candidates for tenure. Melanie Adams, Christy, how you spell her name?
Shoshi.
Christy Shoshi, Heidi Curley, Zachary Pittman, and Chris Dunbar. They all were sent those portfolios, and we had a chance to look at them.
And they are here. I would love to introduce them to everyone. And if you all will stand when I call your name, and I'll let the principal sort of say something about them. They're all wonderful. We have Melanie Adams from Doe. Mr. Agnew, do you want to say anything?
Ms. Adams has made my job a lot easier coming in the last couple of years. My background was in special education, but she knows more than I will ever know. And paperwork is flawless, as is her instruction and her interaction with students, and she's just fantastic. It's my pleasure.
Christy Shoshi is the instructional coach at the middle school and the high school. She mainly has dealt with the high school this year, so Mr. Henley, do you want to speak on?
I will. Ms. Shoshi, she came over from the middle school to serve, as one of our ELA coach this school year. Has been a real asset to our English department and to the middle school as well. So yeah, she's definitely an asset to Johnson County.
And you might as well just stay standing, Mr. Henley. Heidi Curley. Heidi teaches English at the high school.
Ms. Curley's also, she's a member of our English department. She's played a vital role the last few years of getting our seniors to the finish line. And I know she's very proud of that. Sometimes she has to pull, tug, crack the whip behind her heels, but she gets the job done as well. So, and we're proud to have her.
And then Zach Pittman, he teaches history at the high school. He is our tennis coach, and they are in tournaments today, so he could not come. But
yes, Mr. Pittman, he's an excellent history teacher. If you know any of our students that's had Mr. Pittman, they typically brag about being in his class, and all the administrators here that's been in his class know that he's an excellent addition to the staff.
And then last but not least, we have Chris Dunbar, who teaches social studies at the middle school, Ms. Stansberry.
Chris has been team leader for our 7th and 8th grade team this year, and he has surpassed my expectations of a team leader. He's a role model. He's one of our coaches. He coaches, football, basketball, anything you need, ask Chris, and he does it with a smile and does it well. And I'll brag on Christy too. She's been part-time this year, and we've missed not having her full-time. So she does a wonderful job.
We highly recommend all of these for tenure.
Okay. I guess, is there any discussion, or someone want to go ahead and make a motion that we approve all of these?
I'll make a motion we approve.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussions? Call roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes. Okay, Miss Lauren, you want to do your thing?
Yeah, sounds good. All right, as my final report for this board, I would like to begin thanking my fellow members for this opportunity to be here among them. Preceding me will be the new senior representative, Maddie Peak, and the new junior representative, Braden Gentry. We would also like to welcome our new board members. Graduation is on May 22nd. The seniors' last day in-person school will be tomorrow, as only seniors will be virtual the next week due to graduation, so we have a higher chance of attending. Senior night is May 18th by invitation. College signing day is May 20th, and graduation practice is next Thursday and Friday at noon. Congratulations, class of 2021. All students, please be mindful of the end-of-year testing for all grades and be sure to return any textbooks at the risk of a fee. The final day of school is May 27th as half a day. We know this year has been hectic, but we are so proud to have made it to the end of this year with minimal distress.
Thank you.
If it's okay, I'd like to introduce our reps for next
Sure.
year.
Yeah, please do.
Maddie Peak. Maddie, you want to stand up? He'll be the senior rep next year. And then Braden Gentry will be next year's junior rep, who will go into the senior year. I know both of these young gentlemen. They are wonderful young guys, and they will do a great job for the next 2 years. So we're excited to have them both.
All right.
I just thank Lauren for coming and being with us in I guess, a troubled year that we had. But
Yeah.
we appreciate you, and you've done a good job.
Well, thank you.
Certainly
Thank you for
appreciate it.
having me.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Number 7 on your agenda is approve the silver and white graduation cord for seniors scoring 21 or higher on the ACT.
Yes, one of the policies for graduation cords is they have to come in front of the board. Mr. Henley has asked that we recognize those seniors that score 21 or higher on the ACT with a silver and white cord. And if you look at number 8, it's the same thing. For those scoring a 26 or higher, would receive a medallion with a ribbon to wear for graduation. So, and this that Dr. Long just gave you is just a list of all the cords that they already currently wear that have been approved by the board. So if you have any questions, Dr. Long or Mr. Henley can answer.
That was a question I had, I just seen those two, so once we approve them, that it's just, they
Yes.
keep doing it, okay.
Yes,
That's-
yeah, you only have
that's
to
great.
approve it one
That's
time.
great.
Yeah. Someone help me here. This is my first time on this, being the chairman. We've already approved the agenda. We have 2 items. Do we have to vote on both of these individually?
Yes.
Okay. All
I just
right.
thought I would explain them both since they're sort of
Okay.
similar.
We've kind of got them combined. Does anyone have any comments on number 7 or number 8? Okay, if not, do we have a motion to approve item number 7?
Move we approve the item number 7, silver and white graduation cords for seniors.
Okay. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Call the roll?
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Okay, same goes for number 8. Do we have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay,
Second.
and a second. Call the roll?
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Okay, we got 3 policies to approve tonight. It's second and final reading of the Johnson County Board of Education policies. There are 3 of them. Do you want to go ahead and go over them?
Yes, on policy 4.60, weighted grading, this is what Dr. Long presented it to you all to add, just where we can do weighted grading on the uniform grading system with the different points. 5.303 is personal and professional leave. We just changed the leave days based on what had already been in the contract for years to from 2 to 3. And then on compulsory attendance ages, we just removed the outdated statement about the age restrictions being at September 30th.
Okay. Have any discussion on any of these? Okay, do I have a motion to approve all 3, or do you want to pull one out?
Move we approve all 3 policies on second reading.
Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Matheson, second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Item number 10, approve the Johnson County, I guess that's supposed to be Board of Education 5-year strategic plan from 2020 through 2025. And in your packet, that's attachment number 10.
And that was the 5-year plan that we came up with at the board retreat when we met on that Saturday. And that was just all the cumulation, and Angie put that together and emailed that out. So it's just updating our 5-year plan.
Got any discussion on that one? Or do we want someone to make a motion to approve it?
Move we approve the 5-year plan.
Okay, Mr. Long made a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Reese got a second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Moving right along, number 11. Okay, 11 and 12 are kind of the same thing here. They're, number 11, approve making October 22nd, 2021 a Niswonger Teacher Professional Development Day. And the new calendar is in your packet. And goes along with that is number 12. If it's all right, we'll discuss them both together, I guess. That's approved making October 28th, 2022 a Niswonger Professional Day, and that calendar is in the in your packet. Does anyone have any discussion or any questions about those?
You want to do that, Tracy?
Yes, for those that have been on the board for a while, we used to have what they call UTEC Day, where all the teachers in the, as I call it, first district, which is Morristown to Johnson County, would have a staff development day at ETSU. When I was teaching, we had that. And they sort of got away from that. Well, Niswonger has added that back in, and you know Niswonger is wonderful to school systems, especially Johnson County. But it would be every school district from Morristown to us would be involved in a professional development day. So we would all have this day off from the calendar for students, but our teachers will be going to various sites depending on their academic area. Angie is leading that charge for us, and I know when she had a call this week, they want to use our CTE. Us in Carter County are going to be hosting the CTE sites. So these are days that we have to all put in our calendar, which will be a professional development day for our staff.
So both of those are on Friday?
They're both on a Friday. Yes. So there would be no school for students those days, but our staff would be working.
Anybody have any questions on them? Okay, then I guess let's take number 11 first. That's October 22nd, 2021. Do we have a motion to approve that day?
I make a motion, we approve.
Okay, motion from Ms. Reese. Have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Long. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. Same thing goes for number 12. Anybody have a motion to approve that one?
Move we approve October 28th, 2022 as Mcewen Professional Development Day.
All right. I need a motion by Mr. Long. Anyone want to second that one?
I'll second.
And Ms. Reese, second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes. All right.
Second one should be on 29th. I didn't go to 2022.
6 days apart. If they're both on Friday.
Uh-oh. Man, back up.
Let's back up.
Oh, okay.
Do what?
Are we good or are we not good?
Are we good? She's pulling together.
Okay, so October
It is.
28th, 2022 is a Friday.
It is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Don't listen to Herbie.
I've had a week.
Yeah, it is the 28th.
Okay, we're good. We can move right along. Okay, item number 14. Update on the state board ruling on the 2021-2022 return to school plan. That's attachment 14 in your packet.
I'm just going to read the statement. This just sort of solidifies what we are doing next year. Tennessee schools will not be able to teach students both in person and remotely next school year due to the rule approved by the Tennessee State Board of Education, which is the rules we have to follow. During their special called meeting on April the 12th, the State Board of Education approved a new policy not to allow schools to operate on a hybrid system, which means some students are in person and others are remotely, which is what we have done this past year. Instead, all students that choose to learn remotely have to enroll in the virtual school, which we have through Johnson County Online if they want to do that with Ms. Miller. Students who want to keep learning remotely or virtually from home will have to enroll in that virtual school instead of enrolling in their school that they're zoned in or school of choice. So therefore, if a student wants to continue to learn remotely, they would have to contact Ms. Miller and enroll in Johnson County Online, and they have to remain there for the semester. They can't go back and forth. Okay. Just a little update on quarantine students, if we are still doing this next year, because the question has been asked, what about our quarantine students? Quarantine students for next year will be considered homebound instruction when they're quarantined, and that's something we have to provide them. So we are working on that because that just came out.
Yes, we still have a homebound teacher.
Yes, we do.
So they will have to, teachers will have to go to the home? Is that what
No.
you're saying? What will
We
they
have
consider
a
it?
specific homebound teacher, so they can
Right.
work with them remotely, or they can come here. Or,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Now, that's nothing we have to vote on.
I
It's
just wanted
a-
everyone to know that, next year there will be only in person unless you choose
So
to
this-
enroll in Johnson County Online.
So this hybrid thing that a lot of the schools are doing is gone.
It's gone.
Okay. All right. Item 15, approve the purchase and installation of upgrade school zone light components into the cabinets and poles from Traffic Technology in the amount of $19,983. Bids on file, and that's U-Trust dollars. We'll be funding this item.
So I'm going to turn that over to Dr. Long. He's been working on that, but our U-Trust dollars that we normally received at TSBA is what will be funding this.
Okay.
We did put this out for bid. We did receive 3 bids, as you can see in your packet. I'm recommending that we go with the middle bid. There are 2 reasons for that. The low bid and the high bid do not include installation, which was part of the specification. And The middle bid, the $19,893, is also the only one that met the specification of could be fully controlled remotely. I'll be very brief. We have 5 campuses. That's 10 flashing light poles. 2 to be installed at Laurel, which we have. We're not buying them. 2 to be installed at Laurel, and Laurel does not have cellular connectivity. So the 8 of them at the 4 campuses that do have cellular connectivity will operate that way. Of the ones at Laurel will operate off of wireless technology. There will be an antenna installed on top of that building. But that was the only company that had a remote solution. All the low bid required you to go to the pole still to operate that light. And it doesn't include installation. You can read on that one and on the 21,000 one that it doesn't include installation. So that's my recommendation, that we go with the 19,000.
Yeah, going to those poles can be a hazard anyway.
Those 2 lights that you removed from the shady premises over there, what'd you do with those?
They're going to Laurel.
Okay,
They've not been installed yet, but they will be shortly.
okay.
Okay. Any other questions on those lights? I know we do. We talked about the signs and stuff, and the signs don't work. Because I remember going through there, and I went through the school zone, didn't even notice the sign. I was looking for the light. But, so do we have a motion to go ahead and approve that bid from Traffic Technology in the amount of $19,983?
I make a motion. We approve.
I have a motion by Mr. Matheson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Long. Call the roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese? Yes. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Another question, I guess they'll be up and online, but when school starts.
It was in the specs that they needed to be operational by, I forget the date, it was mid-July.
Okay.
I think it was the second week in July, maybe the 3rd at the latest, because we wanted time to put them through their paces before school starts.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, item number 16, discuss and approve of increase in funds held in the trustee's office to allow for expenditures until reimbursement for federal grants is received.
Yes, and Tina's going to address this. They have asked us from the trustee's office to be able to increase this amount due to all of our federal grants and the amounts that we are spending, so.
So federal projects all those grants are reimbursable grants. And so currently we have $300,000 in the trustee's office, and that's to cover everything that's expended through the month until reimbursements are received. The state does a great job, but they have slowed down a little bit on the reimbursements. I know everyone is super busy, super covered up. But if you look at your budget report, 3rd paragraph down, in the month of April, we had $529,069.17 that was expended for federal projects. We only had $300,000 sitting there to cover those purchases. So what we have to do is we have to hope that we can get the remainder or the needed funds back in before the end of the month. So what we are proposing is that we just move some funds from GP into federal. They stay with the trustee. The trustee just has, instead of being in this pot, they're in this pot. With ESSER 1, ESSER 2, ESSER 3, that's our problems, because those are such large grants that if we get huge bills and we can't cover them. So we were just asking to move money from GP to federal until we have finished with ESSER 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever.
How much you talking about?
We spoke with Russell a little bit, just kind of with us talking, throwing out ideas. We have $300,000 there. We were thinking that if we move $700,000, we would have $1 million, because our fear is if we start with subcontractors, architects, we're not sure how often they're going to want payments. Are they going to want 25%? So that's just a number that we threw out. I mean,
Comptroller, say, what's the comptroller's office say?
the comptroller, that's why we had to move the $300,000 initially. I don't know if you remember that, but it puts us all three, like, we're in the red, the trustee's in the red, Mr. Robinson's in the red when we spend more than the 300,000.
Right.
So that allows us to be compliant, not in the red, if we have enough funds to cover. And so actually the comptroller is the one that suggested, like,
Okay.
years ago, that we had the 300,000 put in there.
Okay, did you, I guess, discuss with Jason this?
We haven't actually, we're actually meeting with them next week.
Okay.
But we needed to bring it to you all because, like I said, we could have some real issues. We all could end up with findings if every month we're going in the red. And, I mean, that's just a suggested amount, you know, any amount that would help us stay.
Well, if we move 700,000, what's that, is that going on?
It's just kind of like
GP, it's just there.
Yes, yes, it stays with the trustee. It's just kind of like you move it from one pot to the other until we get these grants knocked out, and then it goes right back to your GP.
How much of this extra money has come in?
We actually, so if you, there again, like, revenue for the month of April, we got $616,359.75 that came in. And a little bit of that was from prior month, and then we had $529,069 go out. So we're okay for April. We managed to stay ahead of the curve. So we see 616. And the problem is some of our purchases, I know that Mr. Sutherland could maybe, well, I'm probably tied up. But anyhow, some of our, like the large TVs, the Chromebooks, some of those end up being large purchases. Like we're looking at $300,000, $400,000. So
I guess with, if we're going to vote on a budget, we have to have a number, don't we?
yes, but we are just suggesting a number. Whatever you all are willing to temporarily transfer is will be good with us.
So I guess the trustee, that's Ms. Crowder's office?
Yes.
And she's on board with this?
Well, we actually spoke with Russell. We haven't spoken with her, but it will keep her out of the red.
Okay.
So.
And so the.
Do you think 700,000 will?
We just figured that would give us $1 million. I don't know anything about architects, subcontractors, what kind of portion they're going to want if we start on big projects.
Right.
So.
We're getting ready to start one. Yes, we need a motion on a number there.
How much more the ESSER money is to come in yet?
A lot.
A lot.
We have.
We currently have been awarded over $10 million that we typically do not have to budget and worry about. And then ESSER 4, they're still saying that we'll get those additional dollars, and it will be, they're saying at least what we got with ESSER 3, which is $6 million. So.
And we found out we have a new grant through health, which is $542,000 that we're getting ready to receive. So there's a lot of federal dollars out there to be spent.
This may not even be enough, but at this point it will keep us afloat. And then once we get into this ESSER 3 and, you know, we do that, you know, if it's approved by the state and we do that renovation, we may have to come back at some point and ask you to move additional money until that's over. We just are trying to keep us from being, keep us in compliance.
3.5.
3.5 million, so.
That's
This 3.5 million, what's this renovation on?
Adding a gym to Mountain City.
You gonna add a gym to the Mountain City School?
If it's approved through ESSER, yeah. And turning the existing gym into 4 classrooms because they're out of space. They need classrooms, they're out of space.
If you think 700,000 will do it for a while, I move we approve $700,000 from GP to be moved over to added to the 300,000 at the trustee's office to help offset.
Okay, we have a motion from Mr. Long to move 700,000 from GP to the federal projects. Okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
And we have a second by Ms. Reese. Any more discussion on this? Okay. Call roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes. All righty, number 17, approve the purchase of stadium lights for Paul H. Mcewen Stadium through Sourcewell State Contract. That's item, or attachment 17 in your packet.
I'll turn that over to Dr. Long. Mountain Electric has been in contact with us for a few years about our stadium lights, and we feel like here's the time to do something with them. So.
Yeah, a few years ago when they were doing some work, as they've always been a great community partner and have done for us, they made us aware that the cross members and the brackets at the top are deteriorating and need attention. They're not an immediate safety hazard, but you can't wait until they are to fix it. So we started doing some homework and trying to collect some prices to decide what the way to go on this was. We talked to 3 companies. One is called Mcewen. They're out of Greenville. They've done recent installations in Elizabeth and in Unicoi County. It's what they do, is stadium lighting. We contacted a Premier Sports Lighting out of Gastonia, and they drove up, and they gave us a very informal quote. You can just see it's 2 sentences on a page. It says that it would be $130,000 for material only, but we need to talk to an electrical contractor. And we did talk to Star here in town. They're very interested in helping us, full disclosure and complete respect to them. They've never done in a stadium. They don't do stadiums. In doing a little bit more homework, I found out that Mcewen deals with Sourcewell, which, to refresh your memory on Sourcewell, that's state bid. So it's already been bid out. It's perfectly legal if we wanted to do business with them. If we want to do this now, we're up against, we're now, even though it's May, we're up against an issue of time. So if you all were so inclined, here's what we could do. We could purchase, I think this is in your packet. Y'all, this paper in your packet with the 92,000.
Yeah.
We could purchase all the materials through Mcewen. It's got an approximate 5-week lead time, $92,897, and that is all manufactured in Iowa, which is good. And then, in the meantime, during that 5-week lead time, we put out a bid for installation. Because Sourcewell doesn't do installation, they just do products. And while it's being built, we can put out a bid for installation. I've asked around, they said that you should figure on $6,000 per pole. We have 5 poles. We have figured on $150,000 or less. So this should come in. He said, you know, you might figure high because everything's high right now. He said, but I can't imagine it being more than $36,000. So we should come in at around $130,000, which would be well south of our target of $150,000. So that's a proposal. If we put out the bids for the product, for the hardware, the lights, the wiring, and all that, I don't think we would have a possibility of having this in place to start football season. But the main reason we're looking at it, just to be clear for you all and for anybody in the public, the main reason we're looking at it is the safety issue that's been brought to our attention when Mountain Electric talked to us a couple of years ago.
So it's not the pole itself, it's what's hanging on the pole.
The poles, that's a great question. The poles save us $100,000. Our poles are perfectly fine. We can continue, we can reuse those poles, but it is the cross beams mounted to the poles and the hardware that's holding them there. That needs to be dealt with.
You have to understand, 2 of those lights are new. They were put in the 80s. But 3 of them, the 2 on the stand side and the one in the center on the other side, has been there since 68.
Oh my.
Or 69, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
That's the original hardware, and the hardware there, I'm assuming the bulbs have been changed over the years, several times.
Bulbs have to be changed several times, and of course what were they, 1,500?
What's that?
What's the Mr. Smiley, Herbie, what's the wattage?
1,500.
1,500 watt bulbs, they cost about $350 a piece. These bulbs have, I meant to look at that, it's in this spec. I can't remember. These bulbs have tens of thousands of hours guaranteed, and it's a 10-year warranty, parts and labor. So if a bulb goes out or if something goes wrong with the wiring for 10 years, they're guaranteed to come out and do all the work. So it's just the pleasure of the board. Yes, sir.
What's the dollar amount on the material now?
$92,897.
All right. Did you not have to bid this out?
No, it's not through Sourcewell. Sourcewell is already bid out. It's a state bid.
They've already bid it, it's state contract.
It's a state contract?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, sir. But we would have to bid out the installation.
All right.
And so if we do this, and it's not completely up to the board, but if we do this, then while they're manufacturing it in Iowa for the next 5 weeks, we can be going through the installation bid process here back home and sort of have things lined up to be installed this summer.
Does that need to be added to the approval of the purchase to start with the bidding process for the installation? Or is that just an automatic?
I think it would just be an
Yeah,
automatic.
we don't need to approve
Yeah, I
of
don't think
starting
we-
a bidding process, I don't
Okay.
think, but, what kind of, this is, oh, okay, it is LED, I see it now.
Yeah, they're all, everything we got, I don't know that anybody will do anything that's not LED, but
Okay,
that's a
that's what I
good
was
question.
thinking.
They're all LED.
Okay,
It's supposed to be long life.
yeah.
And the one thing, last thing I'll add about this Musco, this is what they do. And there are, believe it or not, well, actually, it's not hard to believe at all, but it's something I've never given any thought to. There are TSSAA regulations about the lighting on a playing surface. It's got an average of 30-foot candles per foot. And they'll provide us a photometric map showing just how lit up that playing surface is. It has to be up to spec.
Yeah, Musco's been around for years, I'm seeing, they do a lot of Little League.
We do like the fact that they're a Tennessee company and that the parts are manufactured in Iowa. We do like the sound of that.
Okay.
Pleasure of the board.
So, do we have a motion to approve, item number 17, stadium lights?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Long has made a motion to approve. Have a second.
What exactly are we approving?
We're
Just the
approving-
92,000, or are we,
Yes.
The 92,897 for the lights, and then while they're being built, then we will put out a bid to
and then
get
we'll
them.
approve the other?
Yeah.
Okay,
And, okay, yes,
okay. I'll second.
okay, we have a second by Ms. Reese. Call the roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes. All righty, item number 18, our Johnson County Insurance Committee brokerage firm recommendation.
Yes, I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Long. He has oversaw this. He just needs to stay up here.
Y'all are gonna get tired of me. I'll be brief.
No, we're not.
If you remember, and this was probably about 2 years ago, we started the conversation about our benefits package. We had some vendors want to come and present. I think we had 2 come and share with the board. Mark III, who's our current broker, and then American Fidelity at that time came in and presented. And then it was recommended by the board to set up an insurance committee, which Dr. Long did, and then COVID hit. He had them all set up, and then COVID hit. So this has sort of been about 2 years in the making. So he has oversaw this committee, and he wanted to share what they have.
What I've given you there is just a list of who was on the committee, just so you can see it was a pretty good cross-representation across the schools. We had 3 excellent firms come in, 5 Points, American Fidelity, and Mark III, who is our current broker. Again, like I said, I'll be brief. After the conclusion of our last meeting, which was on May the 5th, we had a conference call with all the committee members this Monday, and we had a vote where they ranked them 1, 2, and 3. And so when I averaged them together, 5 Points had an average of 1.58. This would be like golf. The lowest average would be the winner. American Fidelity had a 1.82, and Mark III was 2.58. So, and when I looked at it the other way and just counted the number of first place votes, it was 10-7, 5 points versus American Fidelity. So the recommendation of the committee, either way you look at it, is 5 points. And it is just that. That's all it's listed out on there. It's a recommendation. So like I said last time, pleasure of the board. You all can vote on that. You can ask them to come in and meet you all and talk to you all. But that's the recommendation of the committee.
Well, if we're not going to go by what a committee recommends, why have it? I mean, they've done all the homework, and I think I talked to Ms. Simcox earlier. We've delayed this stuff before and looked at it and spent months looking at it, and we always come back and do what the committee recommends. That's why we have them. So
5 points is from.
They serve education systems across the state of Tennessee. So they have entities, middle, west, and east, but they're out of Nashville. I think their headquarters is out of Nashville, but they only serve education. So they're all about education.
now this right here, all these yes, did just everyone on this committee vote yes to approve it?
I think this is your insurance committee members, correct?
There's nothing on there about vote.
Yeah, I think the yes is just they were a member.
Oh, yes is a member? Oh, okay.
I assume.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't even realize that was on it. That's I apologize, Mr. Payne. That's a previous list that I had made, that I had contacted them and they had confirmed that they would.
Oh, they would be on it, okay.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't even notice that column was still on there.
Okay, I thought it was unanimous. Okay. All right, so I guess what we need is a motion to approve this brokerage firm that the Johnson County Insurance Committee has recommended, which is 5 points.
Is this the name of the company, 5 points?
It is.
Yep.
How long have they been in business?
Oh, numerous years. I don't know how long. I've known them for 8+ years, but that's just, I've known them as a director. I've known their companies. I don't know how long they've been in business. Do you, Tina?
You go Google.
How many years you been with Mark III?
That was 20 some years.
What the big difference is?
Based on, I didn't sit in on the insurance committee meetings.
Was there a great big difference? I mean, was there that much of a difference? Between
the companies.
What do you mean?
Well,
as far as premium price or what?
They
came in and highlighted, all three companies came in and highlighted what they had to offer and what they could. It wasn't, contrary to what you might think, it wasn't like, here's our dental plan and here's how much it is. They really shop those things for the individual districts. I think from what feedback I got from the committee, what they liked about the ones they voted for were some technological components, apps, on-demand pay stubs and W-2s and that sort of thing. If you want to know more of the differences, you might want to have them come show them to you. And I would do a poor job recapping those. For one thing, 5 Points' presentation was a month ago.
Okay.
And they have been in business since 1988.
It was on the 14th.
They've been in business since '88.
1988.
5 points.
Yes.
Well, we just have them come and make a presentation to the board.
Yeah. That's what you're going to do. That's what we do. So we have a motion. You want 5 points to come and make a presentation to the board?
Well, all three of them, but.
Oh, you want all three to come?
Yeah.
Who was it that come? We had a presentation.
That was
Before COVID.
That was American Fidelity, and then Mark III.
Mark III.
Yes.
Which that was a year ago too.
It's been two or 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while back.
And I guess that's why we set up the committees for them to come and present to the committee.
Yeah, their presentations were an hour.
Yeah.
Well, the last one was a little shorter. The first two with the question and answer and everything, they ran an hour apiece.
They did.
Time's no problem with me.
It's up to the board, but my opinion is why have a committee do the work if we're not gonna go with what the committee says.
I'd just like
But
to
that's
see-
whatever the board pleases.
I'd just like to see what each company's offering, what I'd like to see.
What do you suggest on that? Do they need to come, or is there something maybe the committee can present?
Yeah, we could have each of them do a 15-minute Zoom.
We would want to do that in a work session.
Yeah. And the thing is, the longer we wait, the longer it impacts our employees. you
It'll
know.
change, yeah.
Yeah, it could change, so.
Can we do a Zoom?
We'd have, Dr. Long would just have to reach out to them to see if they were.
I feel confident that they could. Are you talking about in a regular board meeting or in a work session?
Work session.
And how long do you want me to tell them they need to crunch it into?
I mean, if we're doing a work session before a meeting, it'd have to be within an hour. So all three of them.
Within
that
15
hour.
minutes, so 15 minutes apiece.
Yeah. Would that be suffice, Mr. Mason? Would that be good?
Or do you, might be awkward for them to be around each other. I started to say, do you want me to tell them to come here and present to you in person for 15 minutes apiece? It makes no difference. We'll do what you want.
Sort of stretches it if they get in here in person. Do the Zoom.
Okay.
That way they'd be a little more apt to.
Do you want to give me a date or two to throw out at them?
We're getting ready to go into budget. So
We need like June 1st or
we,
something for our budget.
the first few weeks of June, Tina and I need for budget.
Is that going to affect our budget?
Well, that will not impact our budget.
Won't impact our budget?
No. But the first 2 weeks of June, Tina and I have dates scheduled because we have to present to the budget committee June the 8th. So we'll have to keep.
When is our next work session?
Well, that's where we're going.
Other than budget?
Other than budget, whenever
No.
you all want to.
Okay.
Yeah. It might be that if we could wait till July to do, because dealing with.
That might give them a little time to condense their hour-long presentation to 15 minutes.
So July, the second Thursday in July before the regular meeting
Sounds good to me.
at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I will get it set up.
So is that something we need to, I don't guess we need to vote on that then.
No.
So item 18 will be pushed to the next meeting,
Or July meeting.
our July meeting.
July.
Okay, and since we're pushing that forward, we don't have to vote on that. Okay. All right, any more discussion on 18? All right, let's move on to 19. Approved purchase of multi-year license from ICEV-ESSER2 funds.
Yes, the reason we're bringing this in front of you all is it is a multi-year license, which is a 3-year license, but this is for CTE and it is paid out of ESSER funds, so Herbie's going to just sort of explain what this is. This is something our teachers and our students are using.
It's a program that we opted to use because it has a strong virtual component, but when they got to use it in the classroom, they came to me and they said, hey, can we get this again because it's got a lot of good information in it. It's also aligned with our state standards and we can use it according to the state. So 3 years, we actually get a savings by getting a multi-year license, and that covers, that's nine teacher licenses for 3 years and 485 student licenses. So after this 3 years, I don't expect that we would renew it anymore. The teachers use it a lot with Google Classroom, so I think they'll have about everything they need off of it by then. So that's what we're wanting to do.
Okay. Any questions about that?
Move, we approve the purchase of the multi-year license.
Mr. Long has made the motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And Ms. Reed's made the second. Call the roll.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
Yes.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes. All righty, number 20, Good news here for the county. Approval from the board. Just need a majority to nominate Mr. Kevin Long for TSBA District Director, a 3-year term. It begins January 2nd, 2022, all the way through December 31st, 2024.
I highly recommend this.
Well, before we go any further on this, that's a 3-year term, right?
Yes.
I spoke to Mr. Long before the meeting. Mr. Long had stated when we was closing the Shady School that he had no intentions of running again. So why do we want to vote on something like this? His term started in January, and him not going to run again.
Well, even if he does run again, you know how elections go, there's the chance he doesn't win the election. But if he is no longer a board member, is it
said he wasn't going to run again.
You ask a question, I'm going to answer. So, if he is no longer a board member, he can make the recommendation to who goes on there. Is that correct?
My understanding.
Okay. So, and he may decide to run again. We don't know. He's not decided yet.
Well, I had, there was a lady came to our house today and asked not to vote for him. I had a gentleman that was in a church that he attended at one time also asked me not to.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well, do we have a motion to nominate Mr. Long as the TSBA director?
Yes, I make a motion to nominate Mr. Kevin Long for the TSBA Director for a 3-year period beginning January the 2nd, 2022.
And I will second. Call the roll, please.
Mr. Long?
Yes.
Mr. Matheson?
No.
Ms. Reese?
Yes.
Mr. Payne?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And Ms. Tina Lifford, budget update.
And the school department at the end of April was 90.3% revenue received and 72.74% of appropriations expended in the general purpose school account. And on your little cover sheet, I have the pages that you can go look for that information. Revenue for the month of April for general purpose was $1,733,496.37. Expenditures for the month of April for general purpose were $1,366,926.38. Sales tax collections received in April, but for the month of March, was $162,094. Collections, once again, were up $38,028 from the same month in the prior year. And property tax collections received in April were $35,168.94. Collections were up $887 from the same month in the prior year. And remember, these numbers are before the split occurs. So sales tax collections are still going very well.
Thank you. Anybody got any questions for Tina? Okay, thank you, Tina. All righty. Any other matters we may duly come before the board? So it's director's report.
You had your Head Start and Pre-K information in your packet. Lori, do you have anything to share? Graduation will be next Saturday at the high school on the football field at 12 o'clock. So if y'all could be there by 11:30, we will make sure that you have parking spots. Mr. Adams, will you get with Mr. Boyd and make sure you have parking spots close by, and we'll let you know where that'll be. If it is raining, which it is not going to be, Mr. Henley's told me it's not going to rain that day, but if it does, we would have a rain time of 4 o'clock. It'll be like last year. If it rains, we may have to put the time off, but we will let everybody know. If it is really, really bad raining, then we will do it Sunday at 2, because everything will be set up for that. End of the school is coming up on the 27th. Just an update on diesel with everything going on with the pipelines. We are good on diesel, so our gas is good right now. So just wanted to let y'all know that. We do need to have a budget work session. We would like to have a work session and a special called meeting on Tuesday, June the 1st at 5 o'clock. Does that work for everyone? Serena will send out an email if that, and I guess we could
You can zoom
me
in. Okay.
Because we take it in front of the budget committee with the county commission on the 8th, which is that following week.
And this is on a Tuesday?
This is on a
you said?
Tuesday, June the 1st. Is that
Yeah, I don't have a
no
problem.
vacations or anything?
Yeah.
Okay. And you can zoom in with
All
us.
right, you'll send out an email.
Yes, we'll send out an email.
Shoot me out an email with that one.
And just want to say thank you all for everything. It's definitely been a very eventful year, but I'm very proud of our students and our teachers, and that we've got to finish out the school year and be in person the majority of the time. So just looking forward to summer. And summer school does start on June the 7th for us, and we have 300 and how many students in? I heard today, a little over 300 students coming to summer school from June, the month of June.
So are those, are we providing transportation?
We are providing transportation, and we do have a grant, another grant that's going to help with the cost of that, so.
Okay.
Of the transportation?
Yes,
Okay.
we found that out this week. Dr. Long's working on that currently. So it will cover the fuel and our cost for our bus drivers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll be notified though when the,
Yes, yes. Angie will be doing a call out and more information, especially for the elementary level, and Dr. Long will for the secondary level.
Okay.
So more information will follow, but we're looking forward to that. That's all I have.
All righty. Looking through here, see we have a couple retirees.
Mhm.
One we're gonna miss pretty bad,
Sue.
Miss
Been there a
Dottie
long
Sue.
time.
Yes.
Oh goodness, what are we gonna do over
Yeah.
middle school volleyball?
That's going to be hard to replace.
It
We plan
is.
on honoring our retirees in July.
Okay. Okay. Have anything else?
That's all
All
I
right.
have.
Okay, does, Mr. Matson, you have anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to ask Mr. Long about the update on the road down at the Doe Valley School.
I apologize, I couldn't hear you.
The, what's the update on the road at the Doe Valley School, y'all?
We had, Shaw and Shank both came out, they both came out and looked at some HVAC stuff with us, and we looked at the possibilities for different things we could do with that road. We have, I don't want to say too much because we have not been able to bring up the subject with some other relevant people. We've tried. We're in the process of making that effort, but the architects have looked at different possibilities and how it would lay and the slope and so forth, so we're on it.
Okay. Can we get any date before the next school session starts, when we might be able to start on that road?
Well, there's a person that we really need to talk to, and we've went and knocked on the door. We're in the process of
Okay.
trying to make contact with that person.
Okay. That's all I have for you. Mr. Adams, I'd like to ask you a question. On the fish hatchery up there, is there any way that we can get some monies to reline those heating tubes and stuff in there?
We've got monies to do that. The gas company has, I feel like they've kind of let us down. I've said, we've got 5 raceways. I'll give you money to make one of them work, and we'll do it with the rest of them. But they've not been able to show me that they can make one of them work yet. So that's where we're at.
What do they have to do to make it work?
I'm waiting on an answer from the gas company. I don't know. Worked fine when we had the other gas company. It's not now.
What's gone wrong here that,
I'm not sure. Marsh can't tell me.
is that part of their contract
Yeah.
to maintain that?
Yeah, they work on everything. We pay them extra. I didn't want to go do with 5 of them and they don't have an answer for one, I wasn't gonna dump all that money into it. So I said, you get one working correctly, we'll do it with the other 4, but I'm not wasting money.
Okay. That's all I have.
Okay. Ms. Reese?
Just again, I'd just like to thank everybody. I know it's been a hard year for you, and everybody's done a great job in whatever capacity that you're in, and I just want to let you know that you appreciate it.
I do appreciate the nomination. Thank you for that. It's hard to believe we went through a year already. I mean, I say that every year, and we do it, and we always make it through and have had a good time, and I know the kids have learned, and it just amazes me how time goes so fast. Even when we're struggling, it still goes fast. And the struggling part of it, y'all made it that much easier. Folks had asked me a question, I said, well, this is what they said, and that's give them the answer, and they're satisfied with it. But I appreciate everything you all have done. I do. I really do.
I agree with Mr. Long on that. You guys do a great job. And, a lot of people, some people still want to wear the masks, and that's fine. And those that don't, I know there was a lot of stuff out on social media. People didn't like them. But if we hadn't have done what we did, we wouldn't have had our kids in school.
That's right.
I have friends up north, and especially in Boston. The kids in Boston have yet to go to school. And we can say virtual school. We've tried it. We did it for a month. And a lot of the kids didn't learn anything. It just does not work. The only ones that really excelled or did anything in virtual school is when there was someone with them. It's like, being homeschooled. You have to have some instructor with a child for them to learn. Whether it's homeschool or if you go virtual, someone has to be with them. I mean, I sat right through it. I had my grandchild there, and I seen that there's no way these kids could do it. You've got single parents, no way that they can, work with their kids. Parents that both work, there's no time to do it. There's no way to do it. So getting our kids in school and wearing these masks was the only option we had. And I know some people didn't like it, but that's all we had. But now that, the CDC and the state has said we don't have to wear them, I can understand making it optional. Well, I look at it, it's a free country. If you want to wear them, wear them. If you don't, then we don't have to anymore. Yes, sir.
Hello, I'm Jim Wayne, and I have a question, 2 questions actually. Do you know what percentage of staff and faculty in Johnson County have received vaccines for COVID?
I don't know.
I do not know.
Well,
Wendy, we don't know that
the rate
information.
in the county is 28%, and most of those are elderly. I suspect that the rate with faculty and staff would be similar. Is there some way you can incentivize faculty and staff to get vaccines? I understand what you're talking about,
Yeah.
but if in the absence of any other protocols that would be helpful, masks are important, and I frankly believe it's reckless for beginning with this time. And the CDC does not say masks are optional for schools.
Can I just say something? I mean, I know you voted on it, and it doesn't matter to me either way, but just so that parents and everyone's aware, it does not change the quarantine. So,
Right.
I mean, I'm fine with not wearing the mask, but it does not change the quarantine guidelines, so I guess people just need to keep that in mind. That part did not change. So, and I did get an email from Dr. Thomas about that, right after the CDC said that about masks, so just for clarification.
The masks, if you've been around, people that have immune problem, that wearing a mask can help, but that's going to be your option now. And we're not going to force it. It's the board's position not to force a mask on someone. That's what we voted on tonight.
One more thing, maybe I better mention this, because we've had some questions real quick since we're on that topic. The vaccines are not mandatory, for us, but I think we had made some guidelines on the committee that if parents weren't not vaccinated, then they could not come and do like school volunteering or anything like that.
They repealed that.
I repealed that, I've added that in that motion.
So
The
they
volunteers,
can,
yes.
so they can attend if they're not vaccinated?
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else? Have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
All right, second. We are adjourned.
Sign that.